Discover the quiet peace already within you. Zen emptiness isn't absence. It's the spacious openness that holds everything gently, right here, right now. Feel how resting in this natural openness dissolves tension and brings deep calm. Share with us in the comments. What time is it where you are? Where are you sitting? And one thing you're releasing right now. Let this simple sharing anchor you in the present. Now, let's gently explore this open space together. Close your eyes gently for a moment. Feel your breath moving softly in and out. Notice how the space around your breath feels open, not tight, not crowded. This is the natural ground we are exploring now. Zen emptiness is not a void, not an absence, but the spacious openness that holds everything without resistance. It is the clear sky where clouds appear and disappear, where thoughts arise and pass, all without the sky needing to hold them or push them away. This openness is not something we create, it is our most natural state, always present beneath the surface of our busy minds. Imagine a single leaf floating on a calm pond. The leaf drifts, shaped by the water's gentle movement. It doesn't cling to the water nor resist it. It simply appears, moves with the current, and eventually settles. The pond does not grasp the leaf as it arrives, nor does it reject it as it leaves. It simply remains open, spacious, holding the leaf's presence without disturbance. This is how emptiness works within us. Thoughts, feelings, sensations arise in this open awareness. They appear like the leaf on the pond, and they pass, just as the leaf drifts on. There is no need to hold them tightly or push them away. The spaciousness is already there, quiet and undisturbed, allowing all experience to flow through it as naturally as the leaf flows through the water. Now, bring your attention inward. Without searching, simply notice where you feel this spaciousness in your body right now. It might be in the softness of your chest as you breathe, where the breath moves freely. It could be the gentle openness in your belly, the quiet space behind your eyes, or even the calm in your shoulders as tension melts away. Wherever it is, let it be. Don't try to make it bigger or hold it longer. Just notice the space itself, the quiet ground where your breath and thoughts move. Feel how it feels warm and welcoming, like the air in a sunlit room. This spaciousness isn't separate from you. It is your own awareness, naturally open and free. You don't have to do anything to be here. You simply are, in this open space. This is not a place we reach after effort. It is the ground we have always stood upon, though we often forget to notice it. When we sit with this awareness, we see thoughts not as solid things to chase or avoid, but as passing clouds in the open sky. They come and go, and the sky remains unchanged. The mind that grasps at thoughts that tries to hold on to pleasure or push away pain, creates the very tension we seek to release. But in this spacious openness, there is no need to grasp. There is only the gentle holding of all experience, without resistance, without judgment. Now, as you rest in this spacious awareness, notice how thoughts arise and pass without your interference. Feel the softness in your chest, the quiet space behind your eyes. This is not an idea about emptiness. It is the direct experience of being open, natural, and at peace. It is the foundation for seeing thoughts without grasping, for meeting each moment exactly as it is, without adding anything. This open space is not empty of life. It is full of the gentle presence of what is, right here, right now. And it is always available to you, as natural as your next breath. Imagine sitting quietly in a sunlit room where dust motes dance in the gentle light. This space holds the warmth, the quiet, the very presence of the room itself. Now, let us gently turn our attention to the nature of awareness itself, not as something we create, but as the clear sky that has always been here. Emptiness is not a void to be filled or a state to be attained. It is not a special achievement reserved for the enlightened few. It is your inherent nature, always present, as natural and unchanging as the air you breathe. You have never been separate from this spacious openness. It is the ground beneath your feet, the clear sky within which all experience appears. Observe the thoughts that arise in your awareness. They come like clouds drifting across a vast, clear sky. They may be bright and colorful or dark and heavy, but they do not disturb the sky itself. The sky remains open, undisturbed, holding the clouds without resistance. Similarly, your awareness remains spacious and calm, even as thoughts, sensations, or emotions arise and pass. They are like weather patterns moving through the sky of your mind. They have no power to diminish the openness that holds them. The sky is not empty because there are no clouds. It is empty because it is open to hold all that appears, without grasping or pushing away. This is not a place to go, but a place to recognize. It is not a destination, but the very ground of your being. To feel this, sit quietly for a moment. Close your eyes if it feels comfortable, or soften your gaze. Settle into your posture with gentle ease. Now, simply notice the space between thoughts, not the thoughts themselves, but the quiet pause where a thought ends and the next begins. Feel the openness that exists before the next thought arises. It is not empty of content, it is empty of resistance, open to whatever appears. This space is not something you manufacture, it is the natural state of your awareness. Allow yourself to rest here for 60 seconds. Notice the quiet calm that arises when you stop trying to fill the space When you simply allow the clear sky to be clear, feel the gentle openness that holds everything, without needing to hold on to anything. As you sit, you may notice a subtle shift. The constant effort to grasp, to understand, to make the mind into something specific, begins to soften. You realize you were never trying to find emptiness. You were simply forgetting it was already here, like the air you breathe. The tension that comes from trying to make the mind quiet or full dissolves in the natural spaciousness. This openness is not passive, it is the active, welcoming ground of all experience. It is where the sound of a bird, the feeling of your breath, the memory of a moment, all appear and pass, held gently, without being held onto. Recognizing this natural state, we can let go of the need to fill it. Imagine sitting by a quiet river on a morning when the air holds a soft mist. The water flows steadily, not rushing toward any known destination, not clinging to the shape of the rocks it moves around. It simply is, moving with the land, meeting each bend, each stone, each new current with the same gentle ease. This river doesn't fear the unknown path ahead. It doesn't need to know where the water will be in an hour. It simply flows, open to whatever arises. This is the natural state of emptiness we are exploring. It is not a void waiting to be filled, but the spacious openness that holds everything without resistance, like the clear sky holding the clouds without grasping. Emptiness as openness means meeting the uncertainty of each moment not with fear, but with a quiet curiosity. It means releasing the deep-seated habit of needing to know what comes next in your experience. We often hold tightly to the next thought, the next word, the next outcome, as if holding it will make the future safe. But this tightness creates its own suffering, a constant background hum of anxiety about what might happen. Emptiness invites us to let that grip soften, to rest in the simple fact of being here, now, with the unknown as the very ground we stand upon. It is not about achieving calm, but about remembering that calm is already the space we inhabit, always. Consider your own experience. When you feel uncertain about a conversation, a decision, or even the next breath, what does your body do? Do your shoulders rise? Does your mind race ahead, rehearsing possibilities? This is the tension of holding on, the effort to control the uncontrolled. Emptiness offers a different way, to simply allow the uncertainty to be there, without adding the story of this is bad or I must fix it. It is the space where curiosity can arise. What might be possible if you stop fighting the unknown and simply notice it? What if the river flowing without fear is the way life truly moves? So take a moment now. Bring your awareness gently to the present. What are you holding on to that you can gently release today? Perhaps it's the tightness in your shoulders from worrying about tomorrow. Perhaps it's the story you've been carrying about a past mistake. Perhaps it's the need to have the perfect answer right now. Notice it without judgment, then offer it this simple thought: I release this. Not with force, but with the softness of letting go, like a leaf drifting from a branch. Feel the space that opens when you release just one small thing. It is not about emptiness becoming full, but about recognizing that fullness was never the point. The space itself is the natural, peaceful ground. This openness to the unknown is not passive, it is the active, gentle awareness of what is. It is the quiet that allows the sound of the river to be heard, the light to be seen, the thought to arise and pass without being caught. As we rest in this open space, we naturally begin to observe our thoughts, not as things to grasp or push away, but as passing clouds in the vast sky of awareness. This openness naturally leads to observing thoughts without grasping. Imagine sitting quietly, not seeking anything, simply resting in the natural openness that is already here. This openness is not empty space waiting to be filled, it is the very ground of your being, the clear sky of awareness that holds everything without effort. It is the gentle calm that permeated your natural state before you ever began to think about emptiness. This spacious awareness is not something to achieve. It is simply the way you are when you stop trying to control or fix the moment. Like the sky holding all weather without disturbance, your awareness remains calm and clear. Whether clouds of thought arise or the sun of clarity shines through, the sky does not fight the clouds. It simply holds them as part of its spacious nature. Your mind, when resting in this natural openness, meets every experience exactly as it is, without shrinking or grasping. There is no need to push away the passing thought or cling to the pleasant feeling. The space around the thought is already present, vast and undisturbed. This is the quality of mind we are exploring now. Consider a moment when a thought appears, perhaps a worry about tomorrow or a memory from the past. Instead of immediately following it or pushing it away, try to notice the space surrounding that thought. Feel the quiet presence within which the thought has appeared. Notice how the thought exists within a larger awareness, like a small ripple on the surface of a still pond. The pond itself remains undisturbed by the ripple. The thought arises. It may linger, but it does not have to define the whole water. There is always space around it. Space that was there before the thought and remains after it passes. This noticing is not an action, it is simply allowing the spaciousness to be felt. You don't have to do anything to create this space. It is always available, simply by resting in the natural calm of your awareness. It is the clear sky holding the weather without becoming the weather itself. This simple practice of noticing the space around thought is not about emptying your mind. It is about recognizing the vastness that already contains all experience. When you see the space around the thought, you see that the thought is not the whole story. You see that you are not the thought, You are the awareness that holds the thought. This is the natural state of being. The unforced calm, that is your true nature. It is peaceful not because there are no thoughts, but because you are not caught in them. You are resting in the spaciousness where thoughts come and go like passing clouds, without any need to hold them or let them go. The sky remains clear and open, whatever the weather. This openness is not passive. It is the active, gentle presence that meets life exactly as it is, without resistance. So when the next thought arises, pause for just a breath. Notice the space around it before you react. Feel the calm, open awareness that is always here, holding everything without effort. This is not a technique to master, it is simply remembering what is already true. With this spacious awareness, we can observe thoughts without attachment, seeing them clearly as temporary events within the boundless sky of presence. This is the foundation for moving forward with clarity and ease. In the gentle rhythm of ordinary life, emptiness isn't a distant concept to be sought. It's the quiet space already holding every simple act. When you wash dishes, the water flows cool over your hands. The porcelain clinks softly against the sink, and the steam rises in quiet puffs. In that moment, emptiness is the space between the thought of rinsing and the action of turning the tap, the breath before reaching for the next plate. It's not emptiness as absence, but as natural openness. The clear sky where the sound of water, the feel of soap, and the simple act of breathing all arise without needing to be grasped or fixed. You notice the space between actions, not rushing to the next thing, not letting the mind clutter the present with yesterday's worry or tomorrow's plan. There's a soft pause, a gentle stillness within the movement, where the act of washing becomes a quiet practice of being fully here, without the weight of needing to do it perfectly or quickly. This is emptiness, the spacious awareness that meets the ordinary with calm, unhurried presence. Think of walking to the mailbox. Feel the ground beneath your feet, the air on your skin, the rhythm of your steps. Notice the space between each footfall, the quiet space where the sound of your breath and the rustle of leaves coexist without demand. It's not about emptying your mind of thoughts, but noticing the natural openness where thoughts arise and pass, like clouds drifting across a clear sky. You might find yourself rushing, caught in a mental stream of to-dos, but emptiness invites you to simply feel the cool air, the solid earth, the quiet space within the step. This is how emptiness becomes practical, not a lofty ideal, but the warm, familiar ground of your own ordinary life. It's in the pause before speaking, the quiet moment when you look at a cup of tea without thinking of the next task, the space where you simply see the steam rising, hear the silence, and feel the warmth in your hands. So, today, choose one small moment to be fully present for. It could be the first sip of morning tea, the sound of birds outside your window, or the feeling of your feet on the floor as you stand up. Don't try to make it special, just be where you are, noticing the space between the action and the thought of moving on. Let the dishwater's coolness, the sound of your breath, the quiet weight of your body in a chair be enough. In that simple presence, you meet emptiness, not as a void, but as the open, peaceful ground of being itself. You don't have to achieve it. It's already here, in the space between your thoughts, in the breath before you speak, in the calm awareness that meets the ordinary moment with gentle clarity. This mindful presence, felt in the quiet space of washing dishes or walking to the mailbox, naturally extends to how we relate to our thoughts. We see them not as solid things to be chased or fought, but as passing clouds within the vast, clear sky of awareness. As the stillness of the clear sky meets the ordinary moments of your day, notice how emptiness is not a void, but the natural spaciousness already holding everything. It is the quiet ground where a cup of tea, the sound of rain, or the simple act of breathing can be felt completely without the need to fill the space with thought. This is the peace of emptiness, unforced, open, and fully present in what is. It is not about achieving stillness, but recognizing that stillness is already here, within the flow of ordinary life. When you move through your day without the rush to do many things at once, you step into this openness. You let go of the mental noise that pulls you toward the next task, the next worry, and simply meet the moment as it is. The water flows. The dish is held. The breath is felt. Each act becomes a doorway to this spacious awareness. Consider washing a single dish. Feel the coolness of the ceramic beneath your fingers. Notice the gentle swirl of water as it rinses away the last trace of soap. Hear the soft sound of the water hitting the sink, the quiet rhythm of your own breath. There is no need to think about the next task, the email waiting, or the worry you carried from earlier. Just the water, the dish, the feeling of your hands moving. If your mind wanders to the day ahead, simply return to the sensation of the water on your skin, the weight of the dish, the quiet focus of this single act. This is not about perfect concentration, but about gently releasing the habit of grasping at multiple things at once. The simplicity of one thing done with full presence is where emptiness reveals itself, not as absence, but as the fullness of being truly here. In this practice, you discover that emptiness is not something to seek in silence alone. It is found right here, in the ordinary, when you stop adding layers of thought to what is already complete. The dish is washed, not because you must, but because you are present for the washing. The water is warm. The movement is smooth. The moment is whole. There is no need to chase a deeper feeling or a clearer mind. You are already resting in the spaciousness that holds all experience. When thoughts arise about the past, the future, the next thing, They are like clouds passing through the sky. You don't grasp them. You don't push them away. You simply let them be, while your hands continue to feel the water. Your breath continues to flow. This is the practice, to meet each ordinary act not as a task to complete, but as a moment to be fully known. This simplicity in action supports letting thoughts pass without grasping, because it shows you that you are not the thoughts you have. You are the awareness that holds them, like the sky holds clouds. As you wash one dish slowly, feeling the water and movement without distraction, you're not doing something special. You are remembering what is always true. The peace of emptiness is not far away. It is right here, in the quiet space between thoughts, in the unhurried touch of your hands on the everyday. And this is where the ordinary becomes sacred. As the soft patter of rain begins to fall on the window pane, notice how the world settles into a quieter rhythm. There is no need to hurry, no demand to make the moment different. Simply allow your awareness to rest with the sound, the coolness of the air, the gentle movement of water tracing paths down the glass. This is the heart of emptiness, not a void to be filled, but the natural, open space where ordinary things reveal themselves without effort. Emptiness here is not absence. It is the spacious ground of your presence itself, holding all experience as it arises, uncluttered and unhurried. Observe the rain without judgment, without the urge to change it or label it as pleasant or bothersome. See the droplets form, travel, and vanish, each moment complete in itself. This gentle observation is emptiness in action, seeing things as they are, not as you wish them to be. It is the deep peace that comes from releasing the need to control or reshape the present. You are not trying to become something else. You are simply being here, fully, as the rain continues its quiet work. In this openness, the mind finds rest, not by forcing stillness, but by recognizing that stillness was always here, beneath the surface of thought. Let this be your practice now, in this ordinary moment. What is the present moment offering you right now? Perhaps it is the warmth of sunlight on your skin, the distant sound of birds, the quiet breath moving in and out of your body. Notice it without adding a story. Do not ask it to be more or less. Simply allow it to be as it is, and in that allowing, you meet emptiness directly. It is not a distant concept, but the very texture of your awareness when you stop trying to hold on or push away. You might find yourself noticing the way your fingers rest on the table, the subtle shift in the air, or the soft rhythm of your own heartbeat. Each of these is a gift, offered freely in this moment, not something to be earned or altered. This is how emptiness becomes practical, not abstract. It is not something you seek in a monastery. It is the clarity you find when you turn your attention gently toward what is already here, in the ordinary. The rain continues. The breath continues. The moment continues. there is no need to fix it. No need to make it beautiful or meaningful. It simply is, and in that simplicity, there is profound peace. Reflect now. What is the present moment offering you right now? Not what you hope for, but what is actually present. This sound, this feeling, this breath. Allow yourself to receive it without judgment, as a gift freely given. In this gentle observation, you are not separate from emptiness. You are it, moving through the world with open hands, unburdened by the weight of what might be next. This observation naturally leads to seeing thoughts as passing weather. Imagine the quiet space between your thoughts as you sit with a cup of tea. The steam rises gently, carrying the scent of green leaves, and you notice how the room feels spacious, unhurried. This is the same emptiness you've been meeting in ordinary moments, the natural openness already holding everything. Not a void to fill, but a deep peace that is always present. Now, bring this same spacious awareness into your next conversation. It is not about saying less, but about speaking from a place of openness, free from the tight grip of fixed ideas or the need to be right. When someone speaks to you, especially when their words touch something sensitive, you might feel the old urge to jump in with a solution or to defend your own perspective. But emptiness invites you to pause. Breathe. Let the words settle in the space before you respond. Notice how the need to fix, to correct, to prove your point dissolves when you simply listen without planning your next sentence. This is not silence out of avoidance, but presence out of respect. You might find yourself in a conversation with a friend who shares something difficult. Your mind might instantly race to offer advice or share a similar story. Instead, feel your breath deepen as you let their words rest. Hear the tone in their voice, the pause before they speak. See the space between your words as a shared field of awareness, not a gap to be filled. In that pause, you create room for their truth to be held without judgment. You're not trying to make it better. You are simply being present with it. This is how emptiness becomes practical in the most ordinary human exchange. It is the quiet courage to be open when it is easier to be certain. It is the softness of listening with your whole being, not just your ears. You might notice how your shoulders relax as the tightness of needing to be right melts away. The conversation flows more easily, not because you said more, but because you said less, yet connected more deeply. This simplicity in communication is not about perfection. It is about returning to the natural openness that is already here. When you pause before speaking, you are not stopping conversation. You are allowing it to breathe. You are stepping out of the role of problem solver and into the role of a calm, listening presence. In that moment, there is no you trying to fix anything, no other person needing to be fixed. There is only the shared space of awareness, as clear as the surface of still water holding the reflection of a single leaf. This is the practice. Not a grand gesture, but a single breath before you speak. In your next conversation, whether with a partner, a colleague, or a stranger, try it. Let the words come, but first feel your breath. Let stillness settle into your chest. Notice how the need to be right fades, replaced by a gentle curiosity. Notice how the other person seems to relax, as if the space you created allows them to be fully heard. This is not about changing others, it is about releasing your own attachment to having the answer. It is about finding peace in the simplicity of being present. When we communicate simply, we create space for true connection. Sit quietly for a moment. Feel the stillness beneath the surface of your awareness. Now notice the gentle flow of thoughts that arise, like ripples on a calm pond. You may observe a worry about tomorrow, a memory of yesterday, or a fleeting idea. In this space of emptiness, thoughts appear and disappear without needing to be held onto or pushed away. Grasping at them, however, creates the very suffering you wish to release. When you tighten around a thought, you create a small cage within your mind. You believe the thought must be true, must be acted upon, must be defended. This clinging turns a passing cloud into a heavy stone. But emptiness is not empty void. It is the spacious awareness that holds all experience without effort. It is the calm glass beneath the rain, accepting every drop without resistance. Consider this when you notice a thought about a conversation you had. Do you immediately step into it, replaying every word, feeling the heat of the moment? Or can you simply notice the thought as it appears, like steam rising from a cup of tea? In the first case, you are caught in the thought, carried away by its story. In the second, you are the open space observing the steam, without needing to hold it or chase it. The difference is subtle yet profound. Emptiness allows the thought to be seen clearly, not as something to be owned, but as a natural occurrence within the vastness of awareness. There is no need to fix it, judge it, or make it disappear. It simply is, and then it moves on. Reflect on your own day. What thought are you holding on to right now? Perhaps it is a concern about work, a regret, or an expectation for how someone should behave. Notice where it settles in your body. Maybe a tightness in the chest, a tension in the jaw. Now, without forcing it away, simply ask yourself, can I gently place this thought down? Not by fighting it, but by recognizing it as a passing event in the open sky of your mind. Let it be as it is. You don't need to become it. You don't need to solve it. You can simply hold it with the same quiet care you'd give to a single leaf floating on still water. This is not indifference. It is the deep peace that comes from knowing the thought is not your true home. The mind's activity is natural, like the wind moving through trees. Your role is not to stop the wind, but to rest in the unshaken forest that holds it. When you stop grasping, the mind returns to its natural state of calm clarity. The thoughts that once felt like anchors now reveal themselves as temporary visitors. You see them clearly, without the weight of mine or not mine. This is the heart of working with thoughts, not to eliminate them, but to meet them with the open, unburdened presence that is already yours. So as you sit here, let the thought you hold gently soften. Feel the space around it expand. Notice how the very act of releasing the grip brings a quiet relief. You are not losing the thought. You are returning to the spaciousness that was always there, holding it without strain. This is the peace of emptiness. It is not a place you reach, but the natural state of being when you stop fighting what is. Letting thoughts pass like clouds is the next step in releasing grasping. Feel the gentle rhythm of your breath as you settle into this moment. Notice the quiet space within you, the spacious awareness that holds all that arises. Thoughts may come, like leaves stirred by a soft breeze, or perhaps like clouds gathering in a vast, open sky. They appear, they move, they fade, yet they never touch the deep, clear sky of your awareness. This is the natural flow of mind. Thoughts are temporary visitors, not the landscape itself. Rest now in the awareness that is the sky, not in the passing cloud of any single thought. There is no need to chase after them or push them away. They simply are, and they will be gone. This is not about controlling the mind, but about recognizing the unchanging presence that observes the mind's activity. When you rest in that awareness, thoughts lose their power to disturb you. They arise within the sky, but they do not change the sky. Imagine this clearly now. See your thoughts as clouds drifting across a wide, clear sky. Watch them come and go, without following them into the story they carry or holding on to them as if they were yours. Breathe in and feel the spaciousness of the sky within you. Breathe out and let the cloud of any thought dissolve into that openness. This is not effort, but simply allowing the natural state to be known. It is a quiet invitation to return home to your own clear, uncluttered nature. Notice how the mind feels when you stop grasping at thoughts or rejecting them. See how the tightness, the need to label or fix, begins to soften. The sky remains perfectly clear, even as clouds pass through it. Your awareness is not the cloud, it is the boundless space that contains the cloud. There is no need to struggle with the thought, no need to force it away. Simply rest in the knowing that you are the sky, the stillness, the open space. As you breathe gently, feel how the mind naturally settles when you stop fighting its movement. The clouds of worry or excitement may still form, but you are not the cloud. You are the vast, quiet space that holds them without resistance. This practice is not about emptying your mind of thoughts, but about releasing the attachment to those thoughts. It is about remembering who you truly are, the awareness that is always present, always clear, always at peace. When you rest in this awareness, thoughts do not accumulate. They flow through you like water through a stream, leaving no trace behind. The mind becomes light, open, and free from the weight of constant mental activity. This is the peace of emptiness, not a void, but a fullness of spacious openness. It is the natural state of mind when we stop grasping or rejecting what arises. You might notice a subtle shift as you practice this. The mental clutter that felt heavy and persistent begins to loosen its grip. Thoughts no longer seem like solid things to hold onto or push away. They simply move through the clear sky of your awareness. This is how the mind returns to its natural clarity. It is not about stopping thoughts, but about seeing them clearly without becoming lost in them. As thoughts drift like clouds, the mind naturally releases its hold on what was. This is the gentle wisdom of letting go. This practice of allowing thoughts to pass like clouds releases the mental clutter that clouds our true nature. It invites the mind to rest in its own natural stillness. Feel the peace that comes with simply being aware, without the need to do anything to the thoughts. The sky is always clear. It is only the clouds that obscure it. When you rest in the sky, the clouds become irrelevant. You are already the clear sky. This is the peace of Zen emptiness, open, spacious, and perfectly at rest. Imagine sitting quietly beneath an open sky, feeling the gentle touch of the breeze. Notice how the air holds everything without holding on, how the sky simply is, vast and undisturbed. Now bring that same quality of spaciousness to your awareness of thoughts. They arise like clouds in the sky, but think of them not as clouds alone, but as the very weather itself, rain, sun, wind, all moving through the boundless space of your mind. The weather changes. The sky remains unchanged. Thoughts come and go, just as the wind shifts. The clouds gather and disperse. The sun shines and fades. There is no need to stop the weather, to fight the rain or chase the sun away. To do so would be to resist the natural flow of life itself. Instead, rest in the sky. Rest in the clear, open awareness that holds all the weather without being disturbed by it. Feel how the sky does not struggle with the storm. It simply allows the storm to pass through its own boundless space. This is the peace of emptiness, open, not empty of content, but empty of grasping, empty of resistance. It is the natural state of mind when we stop trying to control the weather within us. Observe a mountain stream flowing over smooth stones. The water moves swiftly, clear and cold, carrying leaves and small twigs. It does not cling to the leaves, nor does it push them away. It simply flows, carrying them along on its path, then letting them drift downstream as the current changes. The stream is not the leaves, it is the path they travel upon. Your awareness is like that stream, like the sky itself. Thoughts are the leaves, the rain, the wind, the weather passing through. You are not the weather. You are the space through which it moves. When you notice a thought arising, simply say to yourself, not with effort, but with gentle recognition, there is a thought, then let it be. Rest in the stillness beneath it, the stillness of your awareness. Do not pull it toward you to examine it, nor push it away to be rid of it. Simply welcome the thought as a passing guest in the house of your mind, and then let it leave as naturally as it came. Feel the difference when you stop trying to fix the weather. When you stop saying, this thought is bad, or I must not think this. Notice how the tension in your shoulders softens, how the tightness in your chest releases. This is the natural ease that comes from resting in the sky, not fighting the weather. Reflect now on your own experience. When you allow thoughts to pass without grasping or rejecting, how does it feel in your body? Is there a sense of lightness, a quieting of the inner chatter? Does the mind feel less like a battlefield and more like a calm lake reflecting the sky? Notice the space between thoughts, the quiet moments when the weather has cleared. This space is not empty, it is full of the quiet presence of awareness itself. It is the peacefulness of emptiness, open and spacious, not a void, but a welcoming ground for all that arises. There is no struggle, no effort to make the mind blank. Just the simple, profound ease of resting in what already is. This is the practice to return again and again to the sky, to the clear awareness that holds all the weather without being changed by it. As you rest here, releasing the need to control or resist, the mental clutter begins to fall away like leaves from a tree in the wind. It is not that you're pushing the clutter out, it simply dissolves in the natural openness of your awareness. This effortless letting go is the gentle unfolding of the mind returning to its own natural clarity. Releasing mental clutter is a natural result of this practice, a quiet gift given by simply resting in the sky of awareness. Notice how often your mind holds on to things like a child clutching a favorite stone. This constant grasping creates a heavy accumulation we call mental clutter. It's not the thoughts themselves that bind us, but the tight grip we place upon them. Zen emptiness is not an absence, but the spacious, open awareness that naturally holds all that arises without needing to hold on. It is the quiet space between thoughts where everything can simply be. This space is already present, always available, waiting to receive us without judgment. When we stop resisting the flow of thoughts and emotions, we discover that they are like passing clouds, not solid walls. The true work is not to force the clouds away, but to rest in the vast sky that holds them all. This effortless resting dissolves the tension of mental clutter, releasing it like a leaf carried gently downstream. Imagine a single leaf floating on the surface of a still pond. It drifts without resistance, carried by the water's natural movement. It doesn't fight the current, nor does it cling to the edge of the pond. It simply is, moving with the flow. This is the natural state of the mind when we stop grasping. The leaf represents a single worry, a habitual thought, a small burden we carry. In the calm water of our awareness, this burden does not sink or stick. It moves freely, carried by the current of our open presence. There is no need to push it away or pull it closer. It is simply seen, acknowledged, and then released back into the spaciousness of the moment. This is not about erasing thoughts, but about returning to the clear, uncluttered space within which all thoughts appear and disappear. Take this moment to practice releasing one small burden. Sit comfortably, letting your body settle into stillness. Feel the natural rhythm of your breath. As you exhale, gently invite one worry, one tight thought, one small piece of mental clutter to leave your mind. You might imagine it dissolving like mist in morning light, or flowing away like the leaf on the pond. With each gentle out-breath, feel a soft release, a loosening of the grip. Don't force it. Simply allow the breath to carry it away. You might notice the shoulders dropping, the chest softening, the mind becoming lighter. This is not about achieving a perfect empty mind, but about resting in the natural openness that is already there. It is the quiet recognition that you are not the thought, but the space holding the thought. The thought arises, you breathe it out, and the space remains clear. One burden released, the mind feels a little more room to breathe. One small release, and the weight lifts. This practice is simple but profound. It requires no special effort, only a gentle shift in attention. Instead of chasing thoughts or pushing them away, you return to the breath and the space between thoughts. As you release one worry with your exhale, you are not creating emptiness. You are revealing the emptiness that has always been there, waiting to receive you. The mental clutter was never the true nature of your mind. It was simply a temporary accumulation, like dust settling on a surface. Now, with a soft breath, you invite that dust to lift and drift away. Feel the lightness that follows. Notice how the mind, freed from that single burden, becomes quieter, more spacious, more available to the present moment. This is the taste of Zen emptiness, peaceful, open, and naturally at ease. With mental clutter released, we can find calm in stillness. Feel the gentle rhythm of your breath moving through you, a natural flow as constant as the turning of the earth. As you breathe in, notice how the body softens, releasing any subtle tension held in the shoulders or chest. Then, as you breathe out, let go even more deeply. Now, gently turn your attention to the quiet space between the inhale and the exhale. This is the bridge, not a moment of nothingness, but a spacious pause where thought naturally falls away. In that pause, there is no past regret, no future worry, only a deep, open stillness, like a pond undisturbed by wind. This is the heart of Zen emptiness, not a void to be feared, but a peaceful, welcoming space where you simply are. Think of a leaf floating on a still lake. It moves with the water's gentle current, yet the water beneath remains perfectly calm. Thoughts are like those leaves, passing through the open sky of your awareness. But when you rest in the breath's pause, the leaves settle and the lake becomes still. There's no need to chase or hold on to anything. The stillness isn't something you create. It's already here, beneath the surface of all movement. It is the quiet ground beneath your feet, always present, always open. Try this now, just for 3 breaths. Breathe in softly, feeling the rise of your chest. Breathe out fully, releasing any tightness. Then, as you prepare to inhale again, pause gently. Notice the space where the breath waits. Do not force it. Simply rest in that open moment. Let the pause be your anchor. Breathe out again. Pause once more. Feel the stillness as a quiet presence, not a thing to grasp, but a space to rest within. One more time, breathe in, breathe out, and in the soft pause between, let your awareness soften into that boundless calm. This is not about stopping thought, but about seeing that thought is not the whole story. The stillness is always there, waiting for you to notice. As you return to your day, carry this quiet space with you. When a thought of the past arises, like a cloud passing through the sky, do not follow it. Instead, gently return to the breath's pause, the place where the cloud dissolves and the sky remains clear. This is the practice of presence, not erasing the past, but stepping into the stillness where the past cannot touch you. The space between breaths is where regret loses its grip, where the present moment, unburdened, becomes fully real. This stillness is where presence over past regrets becomes possible. As you settle into the natural pause between breaths, that quiet space already holding you, notice how thoughts about the past can arise like clouds passing through a clear sky. There is a gentle weight to these thoughts, a subtle tightening around the heart when we replay moments we wish we could change. This is the echo of regret, a mental loop that pulls us away from the simple reality of this very moment. Regrets are not facts. They are thoughts about what has already passed, like watching a film that has ended. They hold no power in the present. yet we often carry their weight as if it were real. This is the moment to gently release that grip. Let go of the regret to be fully present in this moment, where peace is already waiting. Not as an achievement, but as the natural state of your awareness. The space you are resting in now, the spacious, calm awareness that deepened in the pause between breaths, is the same space that holds this moment, untroubled by what has been. It is open, empty of the past, and therefore peaceful. Consider the Zen story of the monk who spilled his tea after the accident. He simply said, "The tea is spilled. Now, let us drink the next cup." He did not dwell on the spilled tea or the mistake. He was fully present with the cup in his hands and the warmth of the next sip. There was no regret. Only the simple act of being here, now. His peace came not from avoiding the spill, but from releasing the thought of it. This is the wisdom we can carry forward. When a regret arises, a word spoken too harshly, a chance missed, a moment of fear, you don't need to fix it or judge it. You simply notice the thought, acknowledge its presence like a passing cloud, and gently release it. Feel the soft release in your body, the subtle easing of that tightness. Let the regret dissolve in the open space of your awareness as water returns to the still pond. This is not about forgetting. It is about freeing the mind from the past so that it can rest fully in the now. The open space of presence is always here, waiting for you to step into it. Not as a destination, but as your natural resting place. Now, take a moment to gently reflect. Notice any small regret that may be lingering in your mind right now. Perhaps it's a word you wish you hadn't said, a moment you wish you had handled differently, or a feeling you carried long after it was gone. Feel the weight of it for just a second. Then, with your next breath, imagine breathing out that weight. Let it go, not with force, but with the quiet kindness you would offer a friend. Allow the space to open wider as you release it. Ask yourself softly, what past regret can you release right now? It might be as simple as a single thought, a small release. You do not need to release everything at once. One small step into presence is enough. Feel how the mind settles, how the heart softens as the open space of now fills with calm. This is not a special state reserved for monks. It is the natural peace that arises when we stop fighting the present and simply rest in it. As you rest in this open space, notice how calm arises not from effort, but from simply being. Finding calm in stillness is the natural outcome of presence. The stillness is not something you create. It is the ground of your awareness, always there beneath the activity of thought. When you release the past, you don't lose anything. You simply uncover what was always already here. The peace you seek is not far away. It is the quiet space between your thoughts, the space where presence lives. Let this be your anchor as you move through the day, knowing that every moment holds this open, peaceful possibility. You are already resting in the stillness. You are already present. Imagine the frantic rush of a busy morning. Your mind races with tasks. Your body moves quickly, yet beneath it all, a quiet space remains. This is the stillness we seek. Not a silent void, but the calm center within the whirlwind. Calm is not the absence of activity. It is the stillness within activity. Even as the world moves around you, a deep, unwavering awareness persists. It is this awareness that is the true source of peace, always present, always open, never disturbed by the passing storm of thoughts or events. Consider the old Zen monks sweeping leaves from the temple path. The wind blows leaves. He sweeps. The wind blows more. His hands move with purpose. The path clears, yet his mind remains undisturbed. He is fully present in the sweeping, yet not caught within the flurry of falling leaves. The leaves come and go, the action continues. But the core of his being remains steady, like a deep, still pond reflecting the sky without ruffling. This is not avoidance, it is engagement without being overwhelmed. The monk's calm is not separate from the activity. It is the very ground from which the activity arises and flows. His presence is the calm center, the open space where the sweeping happens without strain. This calm center is always available, even now, as you read these words. It is the quiet space between the thoughts, the gentle awareness that observes the busyness without needing to stop it. When the stress of the day builds, when your mind feels crowded, you do not need to find a quiet room. You simply return to this inner space. Take 3 slow breaths. Inhale deeply, feeling the air fill your body. Exhale fully, releasing any tension. With each breath, gently return to the quiet awareness beneath the surface of your thoughts. Notice the space between the breaths, the natural pause where thought settles. This is not forcing calm, it is remembering what is already there. It is a gentle invitation to rest in the stillness that is your true nature. A deeply reassuring presence that needs no effort to be. This practice is simple, yet profound. It requires no special time or place, only a moment of recognition. As you take those 3 breaths, feel the calm center within you, the same calm the monk felt while sweeping. It is not a calm that ignores the busyness. It is a calm that holds the busyness with ease. It is the spaciousness that allows thoughts to come and go without binding you. You're not trying to stop the activity. You are resting in the awareness that is always present, even as the activity continues. This is the peace of emptiness, not a void, but a boundless openness where everything can be held with gentleness. This calm center, discovered in the midst of activity, is not a temporary escape. It is the natural state of being when we stop fighting the present moment. It allows us to move through our day with a quiet strength, responding to life as it unfolds, not reacting from a place of tension. The stress may still arise, but now you have a home within yourself to return to. You can act with clarity, make choices with ease, and meet each moment with the open heart of presence. This calm is the foundation, the deep peace that allows us to move with ease through activity. Consider the gentle rhythm of your breath as you sit now, the quiet hum of the world around you. This stillness isn't a void to be filled, but the very ground from which all movement arises. It is the open space where activity unfolds without resistance. Like ripples on a still pond, disturbances passing through calm water, not disturbing the water itself. Emptiness here is not absence but spaciousness, the unobstructed field where life happens. Activity occurs within this openness, not against it. Think of a busy kitchen during a meal. The chopping, the sizzling, the focused hands moving, they are not separate from the calm awareness holding them. The calm isn't the quiet of the empty room, it's the quiet within the action. The deep peace that remains when the mind isn't fighting the busyness. This is the essence of Zen emptiness. It is the calm that remains while we are active in the world, the clear field where tasks and thoughts flow without creating turbulence within us. Imagine preparing tea in a moment of quiet intensity. Your hands move with purpose, measuring leaves, pouring water, watching steam rise. Thoughts may arise. Is the water hot enough? Did I forget the sugar? Yet beneath them, there is a quiet steadiness. You notice the warmth of the cup, the sound of the kettle, the rhythm of your breath. The tea making isn't happening. Despite this calm, it's happening within it. The space of emptiness is the container for the activity, not the absence of it. The mind doesn't need to stop thinking to find peace. It simply rests in the awareness that holds the thinking. This awareness is not something you create. It is your natural state, always present, like the sky holding clouds without being clouded. Reflect on a task you'll do today, perhaps answering emails or walking through a crowded street. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by the doing, pause for a single breath. Notice the calm beneath the surface of the task. Feel the space around your thoughts as you move. In this moment, you are not separate from the activity. You are the calm within it. How can you bring that gentle presence to your next task? Not by slowing down the action, but by relaxing into the awareness that already holds it. Let the urgency of the task be like a river flowing through the stillness of the riverbed. The river moves, the bed remains unmoved. This is how emptiness becomes active peace. You may find that the busier the task, the more clearly the calm reveals itself. It is not a state you achieve through effort, but a recognition that the peace was always here, beneath the surface of thought. This calm inactivity is not passive resignation. It is a deep, active engagement with life as it is, without the need to control every detail. With calm inactivity, we can let go of the need for control. Imagine a river flowing freely through the valley. It carries leaves, stones, and the rain, yet never clings to any one thing. It simply moves, shaped by the land but not bound by it. This is the natural state of emptiness, open, uncluttered, and at peace. It is not an absence of life, but a spaciousness where life flows without resistance. This is the peace of non-attachment we seek, not as a void, but as a deep, quiet freedom. Non-attachment is not indifference. It is not turning away from life's beauty or its challenges. It is the gentle release of the tight grip we hold on how things must be. We cling to outcomes, to fixed ideas of how a conversation should go, how a project should unfold, or even how a loved one should feel. This clinging creates a constant undercurrent of stress, a silent tension that drains our energy. When we release that grip, we discover something remarkable. We are not the ones controlling the river. We are the river, flowing with the natural current of life. Consider the moment you are waiting for a response to an important email. Your mind replays the words you wrote, imagining every possible reaction. You feel the weight of anticipation in your chest, your shoulders tightening. This is the cost of clinging to the need for a specific reply, to the fear of uncertainty. Now, imagine letting that go. Not dismissing the email, but releasing the tight hold on how it must be answered. Feel the space that opens within you. The river flows without needing to know the destination. Its peace comes from moving, not from forcing a path. This is the freedom of emptiness. It is the quiet that remains when we stop fighting the way things are. It is the calm awareness that was always present, as we saw in the previous chapter, now deepening into a release of control. When we stop demanding that life conform to our expectations, we find we are not losing anything. We are simply returning to the natural openness of being. The space we created by clinging was never ours to hold. It was a barrier we built, and the peace we seek was always here, waiting to be remembered. Reflect gently now. What are you clinging to that causes you stress? Is it a certain result at work? A specific way someone should act? The idea that things must always be comfortable? Notice the physical sensation of that grip, the tightness, the urgency. Now, with a soft breath, let it go, not to forget, but to release the burden. Feel the space open. This is not about becoming passive. It is about engaging with life fully, yet without the weight of resistance. It is the difference between walking through a crowded street holding your breath and walking with ease, aware of every step but unafraid of the people around you. This freedom is the peace of emptiness. It is not a distant state to be achieved, but the very ground of your being, uncovered when we stop grasping. It is the calm awareness within activity, now deepened into the release of all control. The river does not struggle to be a river. It simply is. So too, we are already free, resting in the spaciousness of emptiness. Now, as we release fixed ideas, we step further into this openness. The next step is to let go of the very concept of what should be, so that we may meet life as it truly is, without the filter of our expectations. This is the path of non-attachment, leading us deeper into the peace that requires no holding, only flowing. Notice how stillness feels when you simply sit without needing to fill the space. The quiet isn't empty but open, like a clear sky holding all possibilities. This openness is Zen emptiness, not an absence, but the spacious container where life can move freely. When we cling to fixed ideas about how things must be, we build walls around ourselves. We imagine a map of reality and try to force life to fit it, not realizing we are the ones who are bound. A fixed idea about a situation, a belief about how people should act, or an expectation for how an outcome must unfold, creates a barrier. It narrows our vision, making us miss the river flowing beside the map we hold. We become rigid, tense, like a mountain refusing to yield to the water. Consider this when you hold tightly to an idea of how a conversation should go, how a project must succeed, or how someone should behave. What happens to your experience? You might feel anxious, frustrated, or closed off. You stop truly hearing or seeing what is actually happening. You see only what fits your idea, not the full, messy, beautiful reality unfolding. The river does not resist its path, it flows, adapting, changing, embracing the landscape without demanding it conform to a preset shape. The mountain, however, stands fixed, rooted in its own idea of being still. And in that fixation, it misses the constant, gentle flow of life around it. Holding on to an idea is like standing on a mountain peak, believing the landscape is frozen, while the river moves freely below. Emptiness is the space that allows this letting go. It is not a void to be feared, but the gentle clearing where ideas can naturally dissolve. When you notice the tightness in your shoulders as you cling to an expectation, or the frustration when reality doesn't match your plan, that is the moment to gently set down the map. Try it now, right here. Choose one small fixed idea about a situation you're facing today. Perhaps it is how a colleague should communicate, how your day should unfold, or how a simple task must be completed. Notice the feeling of holding it. Then, with a soft breath, release it. Not forcefully, but with kindness, as if letting go of a light feather. Feel the space open up within you. The tightness eases. The world seems a little wider, a little brighter, because you are no longer blocking the light with your own fixed shape. This simple act of releasing one idea is not about becoming passive. It is the active choice to step out of the prison of your own expectations and step into the flow of what is. It is the quiet courage to meet life as it is, without the burden of how you think it must be. Notice the difference. When the idea is released, you can actually hear what is being said, see what is happening, and respond with presence. The peace of emptiness is not found in having no thoughts, but in the spaciousness that allows thoughts to come and go without holding on. It is the calm awareness that was the natural container for all activity, as we saw in the previous chapter, now deepened by releasing the need to shape reality to fit our inner map. When we release the need for control, we find that non-attachment is not a loss, but a profound freedom. It is the natural expression of peace that arises when we stop fighting the river and learn to flow with it. Releasing the need for control is a natural expression of non-attachment. Imagine the quiet moment when you stop trying to steer the wind. You feel it on your skin, hear it rustling leaves, but you don't grasp for it or fight its direction. This is the simple truth we return to. The need to control is a story we tell ourselves, not reality. Life flows like water in a stream, naturally, continuously, without needing your permission or your struggle. When you release the tight grip of trying to shape every moment, you step into the spaciousness of emptiness. It's not emptiness as absence, but emptiness as openness. A clear sky holding all possibilities without clinging. You stop pushing against the current and find yourself moving with it, effortlessly. Consider the leaf floating down the stream. It doesn't fight the water's path, doesn't plan its journey, doesn't worry about where it will land. It simply is, carried by the current, responding to the flow. This is the natural state. Your life is like that leaf. When you hold on to the idea of how things should be, how your day should unfold, how someone should speak, how the outcome should look, you create resistance. That resistance is the source of tension, the root of anxiety. You are trying to hold water in your hands. The more you squeeze, the faster it slips away. Letting go isn't surrendering. It's releasing the illusion that you can hold the river in your palm. In the stillness of your breath, notice the small grip you hold. Perhaps it's the need for the coffee to be exactly the right temperature, or the certainty that a conversation must go a specific way, or the quiet insistence that your morning walk must follow the same path. These are not grand things, but they are the tiny knots of control we tie around ourselves. Today, gently ask yourself, what small thing can I let go of controlling? Not a major life decision, but this very moment. Can you release the need to know exactly how the next sentence will come, or simply breathe and let the conversation flow? Can you allow the weather to be as it is, without wishing it different, as you step outside? This is not about passivity, it's about presence. It's about trusting the natural current of life because you no longer fear the unknown. When you release the need to control, you discover a profound freedom. The constant inner pressure to manage, to fix, to direct, dissolves. Life doesn't stop flowing, it simply flows through you, without the friction of resistance. You become a vessel, not a dam. The space where control once resided fills with calm, with the quiet hum of being present. This is the peace of emptiness, not an empty void, but a fullness of possibility, a deep, open awareness where everything is allowed to be exactly as it is. You step into this freedom not by grasping more, but by letting go of the tight hold you've carried. The gentle release of one small thing today is the doorway. It's the quiet shift from fighting the river to floating within it. And as you feel this freedom in your bones, you understand this is the essence of release, the very heart of letting go. It is the quiet certainty that you are part of the current, not its master. This freedom from clinging is the essence of this release. Imagine the quiet space within you when you stop holding tightly to anything. This is not emptiness as void, but emptiness as open, spacious peace. It is the natural state of being when we release the tight grip of clinging. Clinging to outcomes, to fixed ideas, to the illusion that we must control every moment, creates a constant undercurrent of tension. We carry this weight without realizing it, a subtle strain in the shoulders, a quickening of breath, a mind that never quite rests. The suffering comes not from life itself, but from our resistance to how things simply are. When we let go, even for a single breath, there is a softening, a gentle release of that held tension. You may notice it as a sigh escaping unnoticed, a slight loosening of the jaw, a quieting of the inner critic. This relief is the very taste of freedom. Consider a simple moment. You have been worrying about a meeting tomorrow, rehearsing what you will say, imagining how it might go wrong. Your mind is clenched around this future possibility. Then, perhaps, you take one deep breath and consciously release the need to control the outcome. You simply allow the meeting to be as it will be. In that instant, the tightness in your chest eases. The worry doesn't vanish entirely, but the struggle against it does. You feel a lightness, a clarity returning. This is the immediate experience of emptiness as peace. It is not about having nothing, it is about having everything without the burden of ownership. The space where the worry was now holds quiet ease. This is the practice we return to again and again. When you feel the familiar tug of clinging, the tightening around a thought, a situation, a desire for things to be different, do not fight it. Do not add more struggle to the struggle. Simply notice it. Feel the subtle tension in your body. Then, gently breathe in, and as you breathe out, imagine releasing the grip. Let the thought, the worry, the need for control simply drift away like a leaf on a calm stream. No force, no effort to make it disappear. Just a soft, patient release with each breath. Notice the relief that follows, the quiet peace that emerges when you stop fighting what is. This is not passive resignation, it is active, gentle surrender into the present moment. Notice how your body feels when you stop clinging. Is there a slight softening around the eyes? A relaxation in the hands? A deeper, slower breath? This is the natural state of emptiness, not an absence, but a fullness of openness. It is the ease that comes when we stop trying to build a wall against life. We realize that life flows through us, not around us, and we don't need to hold it back. The freedom we seek is not out there, it is right here. In the space between thoughts, in the breath where clinging dissolves. This freedom, this natural openness that arises when we release the need to hold, is the very gateway to the boundless awareness we will explore next. It opens us to life as it is, without effort, without the weight of needing to be anything other than what we are in this moment. The path of Zen is not about adding something new, but about removing the barriers we have built around our own true nature. And in that removal, we find the profound peace of emptiness. Feel the quiet space around you now. Not the space between objects, but the space of your own awareness, already present and undisturbed. This is the natural ground of being. Not something to build or reach for. It is the stillness beneath the surface of thoughts, the openness that holds everything without grasping. In the previous chapters, we explored releasing the illusion of control, letting go of the need to steer life's current. Now we simply rest within that released state, recognizing that awareness itself is the current, flowing effortlessly. There is no need to try to be aware. You are already aware, in this very moment. Stop trying to hold on to the feeling of awareness. Stop pushing to be more present. Just let go of the effort. Allow your attention to soften, like a leaf floating on a calm stream, without needing to guide it anywhere. This is not about achieving a special state. It is about recognizing the simple, unforced openness that is always here, right now, beneath the surface of your busy mind. It is the gentle, spacious peace that emerges when you stop fighting against the way things are. Consider a still pond on a calm morning. It reflects the sky, the trees, the clouds, without any effort. It does not strain to be a mirror. It simply is. The reflection is clear, not because the pond is trying, but because it is undisturbed. Your awareness is like that pond. Thoughts may rise like ripples, but the deep stillness beneath remains untouched, open and undisturbed. You don't need to make your awareness calm. It is calm by its very nature when you stop resisting it. The effort to be aware creates the very tension that blocks the openness. So, let the effort go. Breathe in. Let thoughts arise without judgment. Breathe out. Let them pass without holding. Notice how your shoulders soften, how the tightness in your chest eases, simply by stopping the trying. Reflect on this moment. How does it feel to not try to be aware? Is there a subtle release, a quieting of the inner critic that says you must be more present? Feel the relief in your body, the lightness of simply being. There is no need to fix anything, no need to become anything else. You are already whole, already aware, already open. This is not a goal to reach, but the simple recognition of what is. The peace you seek is not out there. It is the very space you are resting in right now, without any effort to create it. It is the natural state of being when the mind stops struggling. This effortless openness is like a clear mirror reflecting the world exactly as it is, without adding or subtracting anything. It holds all experience without distortion, just as the mirror reflects without effort. In the next moment, we will see how this mirror-like awareness allows life to flow through without creating the illusion of a separate self that must control it. For now, simply rest in this open awareness, knowing it is already here, always. Imagine your awareness as a clear mirror held in still air. It reflects the world as it is, without adding anything, without judgment, without the need to change what appears. A mirror does not say the face is beautiful or ugly. It simply shows the face as it is. Similarly, awareness shows thoughts and feelings without grasping them as mine or pushing them away. They come and go, like ripples on a pond, and the water remains still and clear. This is not a special skill to be learned, but the natural way awareness functions when we stop trying to control it. In the quiet of a morning room, sunlight falls on a window pane. A bird flies past, and the glass shows the bird's shape, its movement, its momentary presence. The glass does not hold the bird, does not question it, does not try to keep it there. It simply reflects what is seen. Your mind, when not caught in the habit of adding meaning, works the same way. A thought arises, I should do this, or I feel tired, and awareness holds it gently, like the glass holding the bird. There is no need to agree or disagree, to chase or flee. The thought appears, and awareness lets it pass through, just as the bird passes through the window. You are not the thought. You are the clear space where the thought appears. Try noticing this as you sit softly. Let your attention rest without effort. When a thought comes, see it as a reflection in the mirror of your mind, clear, brief, and complete in itself. See the shape of the thought, the feeling behind it, without adding good or bad. Feel how the mind does not need to fix anything, to make the thought disappear or stay. It simply reflects what is there. There is no separate you trying to be aware. There is only the clear space where thoughts appear and dissolve, like mist rising from a lake at dawn. This noticing is not work, it is ease. It is the natural openness that has always been present, waiting only to be seen. You may feel a soft relief as you let go of the need to manage your thoughts. The tension you carry in trying to hold on to peace or push away restlessness begins to soften. You realize you were never separate from this openness. You were simply mistaking the mirror for the reflection. The reflection is temporary, but the mirror is always clear. This gentle awareness flows without effort because it is not a thing to be created. It is the way things are when you stop trying to shape them. As you rest in this clear seeing, notice how thoughts arise without distortion. They appear as they are, and awareness holds them without adding a single word. There is no need to grasp or reject. The mirror reflects the face of the moment, perfectly, completely. This is not something you achieve, it is the natural state of awareness when you stop creating separation between yourself and the world. Clear seeing without distortion is the natural state of awareness. Notice how the rain falls on the window pane, each drop a separate world of light and motion. There is no need to call it beautiful or bothersome, only to see it as it is. This simple act of seeing without adding a label is the heart of clear seeing. Distortion arises not from the rain itself, but from the moment we think, this is nice or this is bad. We impose meaning, create stories, and then get caught in the struggle of those stories. The mind becomes a filter, distorting reality into something familiar and safe, or something to avoid. This filtering is the root of our quiet suffering, a subtle tightness around the edges of our awareness. Zen teaches that true seeing is effortless, like the mirror that reflects without choosing what to show. The mirror does not say, "This reflection is good, so I will hold it longer," or "This one is ugly, so I will push it away." It simply reflects clearly and without effort. Emptiness is not empty space. It is the open field where things appear as they are, without the mind's interference. When we stop judging the rain, the sound, the color of the sky, we discover the peace that comes from seeing the world as a flowing, unbroken stream of experience. There is no separation between the observer and the observed, only the natural, clear flow of awareness. Imagine sitting quietly, watching the rain. Your mind might say, "This is too noisy," or "This is calming." Notice how quickly a judgment arises. Now, gently release that thought. Let the sound of the rain be just sound, without the story. Feel the space around the sound, the quiet openness where the sound appears and disappears. This is the ease of clear seeing. It requires no effort, only a soft turning away from the need to label and control. You might notice a person passing by, and your mind instantly thinks, they are rude, or they are kind. What if you simply let the person be, without the story? See their movement, their presence, as part of the moment, without adding a judgment. The world appears softer, more real, when we stop coloring it with our good and bad. Reflect gently on your own experience. What judgment can you let go of right now to see more clearly? Perhaps it is the thought that your breath is shallow, or that the silence feels uncomfortable, or that a certain person's words were harsh. Notice the tightness that comes with holding that judgment. Feel the subtle effort of that label. Now, try releasing it, even just for a moment. Let the breath be just breath. The silence, just silent. The person, just a person. See the space that opens when the judgment falls away. This is not about becoming passive. It is about allowing reality to be seen without the filter of your preferences. The relief is gentle, a softening of the heart, a return to the natural openness that was always here. This clear seeing, free from the distortion of judgment, is the ground from which true openness grows. It is the quiet ease that comes from knowing things as they are, without needing to change them or hold them tightly. When we stop adding stories to the rain, the breath, the passing moment, we discover a peace that is already here, waiting to be recognized. This clear seeing allows the heart to open without conditions. Settle into your seat with a gentle breath. Feel the support beneath you, the air around you. In this moment, let go of any need to fix or change anything. Just be present, as the sky holds all clouds without resistance. This is the quiet ease of open awareness. True openness isn't about chasing happiness or avoiding discomfort. It's simply allowing all experience to be exactly as it is, without pushing away the difficult or clinging to the pleasant. Emptiness isn't empty space. It's the spaciousness that holds everything. Joy can bloom within it. Sorrow can flow through it. And the ordinary hum of life can be seen clearly. This openness is not effort. It's the natural state of your heart when it stops building walls. Imagine sitting by a window on a rainy afternoon. You feel a familiar tightness in your chest, the weight of something unresolved. Your mind might urge you to shut it out, to focus on something brighter. But instead, soften your heart toward that tightness. Notice its texture, its temperature, without judgment. Don't try to make it disappear or turn it into something else. Just let it be part of the rain outside, part of this moment. The tightness doesn't vanish, but the space around it opens. You realize the rain isn't separate from your heart. It's all part of the same unfolding. This is the peace of emptiness. It doesn't deny the rain. It simply holds it without shrinking. Now, gently turn your attention inward. Find one current experience, however small. It might be the cool air on your skin, the faint sound of distant traffic, or even the subtle tension in your shoulders. Don't analyze it. Don't say it's good or bad. Simply open your heart to it as it is. If it's difficult, like frustration, meet it with curiosity instead of resistance. Say to yourself, I'm open to this. Let it be. Feel how the tightness softens, not because the feeling changes, but because you stop fighting it. This is the practice. It's not about achieving calm, it's about recognizing that calm is already here, in the space between you and your experience. You don't need to solve anything. You don't need to become someone else. Just rest in this openness. One breath, one sensation at a time. Feel how the heart naturally opens when it stops grasping. The more you practice this, the more you'll sense that peace isn't something you create. It's the very ground of your being, waiting to be recognized. With an open heart, we can see things as they are. Notice how the breath flows, effortless and constant, right now. It is always here, this gentle rise and fall within your body, a quiet rhythm that never leaves you. Unlike thoughts that pull you toward yesterday or tomorrow, the breath is simply present, a reliable anchor in the ever-changing stream of experience. It is not something you need to create or control. It is already happening, offering a steady point of contact with this very moment. Peace, true and deep peace, is not found in the stories we build about the future or the past. It is found in the quiet simplicity of feeling the breath itself, the coolness as it enters, the warmth as it leaves, the subtle movement in your chest or abdomen. This is where the mind settles, not in striving, but in simply noticing what is already here. Imagine standing by a still pond on a calm morning. The water reflects the sky perfectly, clear and undisturbed. Now, picture a single drop of water falling gently onto its surface. The surface ripples slightly, but only for a moment. The pond's stillness is not broken. It is simply the natural state, always present beneath the temporary movement. The breath is like that pond. When we stop chasing thoughts about what might happen next, we return to the natural stillness of the present moment, right here in the breath. We don't need to make it peaceful. We simply allow ourselves to be with this simple sensation of breathing. The peace is already there, waiting to be recognized, not in some distant future, but in the space between each inhale and exhale. Try this now for just 1 minute. Gently close your eyes if it feels comfortable, or soften your gaze downward. Bring your attention to the sensation of the breath. Notice where you feel it most clearly, perhaps at your nostrils, or in your chest, or your belly. Feel the natural flow, the gentle expansion and release. If thoughts arise about tomorrow, or a worry, or a memory, that's perfectly natural. Simply notice them like clouds passing through the sky, and softly return to the feeling of the breath. Don't judge yourself for wandering. The act of gently returning is the practice. Let the breath be the anchor, not the thought. Feel the quiet space that opens up when you stop chasing and simply rest in the simplicity of this one breath. Then the next. There is no need for anything else. This is enough. This moment, this breath, is the whole of reality right now. As you feel this quiet space opening within the breath, notice how the mind begins to settle naturally. The constant chatter softens, not because you've stopped thinking, but because you've found a place to rest that is deeper than thought. The gentle awareness of the breath becomes a quiet companion, a steady presence that supports you in resting more fully in the now. This peace in the breath is not something you must achieve. It is the natural unfolding of simply being present. It dissolves the tension of trying to make things different, revealing the inherent ease that exists when we stop resisting what is. This quiet space within the breath supports sitting with a quiet mind. As you settle into your seat, feel the gentle rhythm of your breath moving through you. This quiet presence you've been cultivating in the previous chapter isn't something you need to chase or create. It's already here, beneath the surface, as natural as the air you breathe. You don't need to stop thoughts from arising. They are part of the sky, not the sky itself. True quiet mind isn't the absence of thoughts, but the spacious awareness that holds them. It's the quiet space where thoughts, like clouds, naturally rise and pass without disturbing the vast, clear sky of your awareness. Rest not in the silence between thoughts, but in the quiet that is always there beneath the thoughts, the deep, unshaken stillness of your own being. This is the peace that needs no effort, no striving. It's simply resting in the openness that has always been your nature. Imagine a monk sitting by a flowing river. The water rushes past, carrying leaves and twigs, while the monk remains still, aware of the movement yet undisturbed by it. The river's current is not the river's essence. The river's essence is the constant flow, the stillness beneath the surface. The monk doesn't fight the current or try to hold the leaves. He simply rests in the river's nature, knowing the flow is part of its being, not its enemy. Similarly, thoughts arise in your mind, but they are not who you are. They are the leaves on the river of your awareness. The quiet beneath them the space where thoughts appear and disappear, is your true home. This is not a place you reach. It's the ground you've always stood upon. Now, as you sit, gently invite yourself to notice this space. Don't try to quiet your mind by forcing thoughts away. Instead, feel the soft pause between thoughts, the breath's natural pause where the mind is simply aware. What does it feel like to rest in that space? Is it a soft warmth, a deep calm, a quiet knowing that you are already whole? Notice how thoughts come and go like passing birds, but the sky remains unchanged. There's no need to judge the thoughts as good or bad. Simply rest in the awareness that holds them, as the river holds its currents. This isn't about becoming still. It's about recognizing the stillness that has never left you. Feel it now, as you breathe in and out. The peace isn't in the thought-free moment you imagine. It's in the quiet space that is always present, even as thoughts move through it. This quiet mind isn't a state you achieve. It's the natural resting place of your awareness when you stop resisting what is. It's the gentle invitation to feel the breath's rhythm without trying to control it, to feel the space beneath thoughts without chasing it. When you rest here, you don't create peace, you simply remember it. You realize that the openness you've been seeking is not something to find in the future, but the very ground of your being in this moment. The quiet isn't separate from the thoughts. It is the space that makes thoughts possible, and it is where you truly belong. So as you sit with this quiet mind, let go of the need to do anything. Simply rest in the peace that has always been here, waiting for you to notice it. When you rest in this quiet space, acceptance becomes natural. Notice the breath as it flows, not as you try to shape it. Feel the quiet space beneath the surface of thoughts, the stillness that was always here. Now, bring that same gentle awareness to the world as it is right now. Acceptance isn't resignation, nor is it giving up. It is the simple, profound act of opening your eyes to what is happening, without the quiet inner struggle that turns a moment into a battle. When you accept the rain falling outside, the sound of traffic, the weight of your body in the chair, you stop pushing against the current of life. You stop fighting the fact that the coffee is bitter, the chair is hard, or the light is dim. This is where peace is found, not in changing the moment, but in resting within it. The peace isn't a future state. It is the natural calm that arises when you stop resisting what is already here. Consider the old story of the monk sitting in the rain. The rain poured down, soaking his robes, yet he sat calmly, not arguing with the weather, not wishing it were sunny. He simply was with the rain, the cold, the wet. He wasn't trying to make the rain stop, he was simply sitting within the experience of it. That's the essence of acceptance. It's not about liking the rain, but about not turning away from it, not tightening your body against its presence. When we resist the rain, we create inner turbulence. When we accept it, the turbulence calms. The rain is still falling, but the mind is at rest. This is true peace, the peace of being fully present with the reality of this moment, exactly as it is. So, try this now. Gently bring your attention to one small, immediate thing in your current situation. Not the big picture, not the problem, just one tiny detail. Feel the texture of the chair beneath you. Hear the specific sound of the wind outside or the hum of the refrigerator. Notice the exact temperature of the air on your skin. Do not judge it. Do not try to change it. Simply allow it to be as it is. Let the sound of the wind be just the wind. Let the chair be just the chair. Let the temperature be just the temperature. This tiny act of noticing without resistance is the practice. It is the doorway. You don't have to solve anything. You don't have to make it better. You simply rest in the simple fact of this moment, this breath, this sensation. In that simple rest, the struggle dissolves. The peace that was always there beneath the surface of resistance becomes the only thing you know. This quiet, open acceptance is not passive. It is the most active, clear-eyed way to be in the world. It is the foundation upon which true understanding grows. When you stop fighting what is, you are no longer separate from it. You are simply present within it. You are the stillness within the rain, the calm within the sound. This is the ground from which deeper awareness naturally arises. Resting in this acceptance, you find the unshakable peace that needs no future to arrive. This is the present moment, not as a moment to be endured, but as the very foundation of peace itself. Resting here, you are ready to see with fresh eyes. Feel the quiet space around you now. Not the space between objects, but the space within awareness itself. It's here, always present, like the sky holding the clouds without grasping. This is the natural resting place of emptiness. It is not a void to be filled, but the open ground where everything simply is. Resting here means releasing the subtle tension of wanting things to be otherwise. It is not about fixing the moment, but gently settling into its true nature as it unfolds. Imagine a single leaf falling from a tree. It does not resist the wind, nor does it try to be a different leaf. It simply falls, meeting the air, the light, the earth, exactly as it is. There is no struggle, no thought of where it should be. It rests in the movement of the falling. This is the natural state of emptiness. It is the deep peace of not needing to change anything. The leaf does not say, "I should be still," or "I should be higher." It simply is. This is the effortless acceptance we speak of. It is the ground beneath all our thoughts and feelings, calm and unshaken. When you rest in this way, you are not seeking peace elsewhere. You are recognizing that peace is already the nature of your awareness. You're not trying to become peaceful. You are simply noticing the peace that has always been there, beneath the surface of activity. It is like the deep, still water at the bottom of a stream, unseen by the rushing current above. You don't have to stop the current to find the stillness. You simply rest within the awareness that holds both the flow and the calm. So, take a moment. Where can you rest right now, without trying to fix anything? Feel the weight of your body against the chair or the floor. Notice the rhythm of your breath entering and leaving, without shaping it. Hear the sounds around you, the distant hum, the quiet sigh of the air, without labeling them as good or bad. Simply be with the sensations, the sounds, the quiet space within. There is no need to make it better. There is no need to push anything away. Resting means allowing the present moment to be exactly as it is, right here, right now. This is not passive, it is the most active, profound form of presence. It is the deep, gentle warmth of inherent stillness, fully awake and fully open. This resting is the natural state of emptiness. It is the spaciousness that holds all experience without clinging. It is the peace that arises not from the absence of difficulty, but from the absence of resistance. When you rest like this, without the effort of changing, you see the world not as a collection of problems to solve, but as a living, breathing flow of phenomena, each moment complete in itself. You see the leaf falling, the breath moving, the sound passing, without the burden of adding your story to them. With this rest, we see the world without labels. The familiar names and judgments dissolve, revealing the direct, unmediated experience of the present moment. The river flows, not as the river, but as pure movement, pure presence. This is the gentle, profound shift that comes from simply resting in what is. Imagine the quiet space within you, already open and spacious, like the sky holding all clouds without resistance. This is the natural emptiness we rest in, not a void but a gentle fullness of presence. Now, gently notice how often you hold on to expectations like a tight grip. You expect the tea to be hot, the meeting to go smoothly, or someone to understand you. When reality shifts, when the tea cools, the meeting gets complicated, or the words fall flat, a quiet tension arises. Feel it? A subtle tightness in your shoulders, a flicker of frustration in your chest. This is the moment expectation meets reality, and suffering is born. The expectation itself is not the problem. It is the struggle against what is, the resistance to the open space of now. Emptiness offers the perfect refuge for this. It is the vast, quiet ground where you can simply notice the expectation without judgment, feel the tension it creates, and then choose to release it. Let it go like a leaf floating down a stream. Do not force it away, simply allow the space to hold it. And in that holding, the tension softens. See how releasing the expectation, not the reality, brings immediate relief. You are no longer fighting the cup of tea, but simply holding it, warm or cool as it is. This is the peace of emptiness, free from the burden of what should be. Today, take one small moment to notice an expectation in your mind. Perhaps it is about a conversation, a task, or even your own feelings. Feel the subtle tension it creates. Then, with a soft breath, gently release it. Do not ask yourself to stop expecting. Simply notice the expectation. Feel its weight and let it rest in the open space of awareness. You might say to yourself, softly, "It is okay for things to be as they are." This is not surrender, it is a deep trust in the natural flow of life, free from the struggle of control. What expectation can you release today? It might be as simple as expecting your morning coffee to be perfect, or expecting a friend to always be available. Notice how much lighter you feel when you let go. This is the practice, not to eliminate all thoughts, but to recognize the habitual patterns that bind you and release them back into the spaciousness of emptiness. See how this release happens not with effort, but with gentle awareness. You are not trying to become empty, you are simply recognizing the emptiness that is already here, always holding you. This is the peace that needs no seeking. It is the natural state of being when the mind stops grasping. As you release one expectation, you open space for the next moment to be seen clearly, without the filter of what you hoped it would be. The tension dissolves, the mind settles, and the quiet peace of emptiness becomes your constant companion. Releasing past narratives allows us to be present. Imagine the quiet space between thoughts, a stillness often overlooked beneath the constant hum of our inner stories. We carry narratives about what happened, who was right or wrong, how things should have been. These stories feel real, heavy, and deeply personal, yet they are simply patterns of thought, like ripples on a pond after a stone has been thrown. They are not the water itself, but the movement upon its surface. This is the nature of past narratives. They are stories we tell ourselves, not fixed truths etched in stone. When we cling to these stories, we create a barrier between ourselves and the present moment. We relive the past, often with regret or resentment, and miss the simple reality of what is happening right now. The suffering arises not from the past event itself, but from our persistent mental replaying of it, our refusal to let it simply be what it was. The space beyond these stories is the natural emptiness of awareness. The open, peaceful ground we discovered in the previous chapter. It is not an empty void, but a vast, clear space where things can simply be as they are, without the weight of our commentary. Consider the river flowing past the shore. The water moves, carrying leaves and twigs. These are the events of the past. The river itself, however, is the continuous flow, the water that is always present, never holding on to the leaves that drift by. We often mistake the leaves for the river, grasping at them and thinking they define the river's nature. But the river is simply moving, and the leaves are merely passing through. The stillness beneath the surface is the river's true nature, calm and undisturbed by the passing debris. This is the space we seek to return to, the spacious awareness where past narratives dissolve like mist in sunlight. Now, try this gently. Notice a past narrative that has been circulating in your mind today. Perhaps it's about a conversation that felt awkward, a decision you regret, or a perceived slight. Simply observe the thought, "I should have said something different," or "they didn't understand me." Feel the subtle tension that arises with it. Now, without fighting it or trying to change it, soften your attention. Bring your awareness to the space around that thought, the quiet space between the words of the story. Breathe softly into that space. Feel the gentle expansion, the release of the tightness. The story may still be there, but it no longer holds you. You are no longer trapped within its confines. You are resting in the open ground of awareness where the story was just a passing cloud. This practice of noticing the narrative and breathing into the space around it is not about erasing the past. It is about releasing the mental grip on it. It is the simple act of letting the story be a story, not the foundation of your present experience. In that space, there is no need to fix the past, no need to relive the pain. There is only the quiet, open presence of now, where peace is already inherent. Releasing these habitual patterns of mental narration is not an effortful struggle. It is a soft letting go, a gentle unfolding. It requires no striving, only a willingness to be with the space where the story was. As we practice this release, the natural outcome becomes clear. We meet each moment with less resistance, less baggage, less need to shape reality according to old stories. We find ourselves simply being without the constant commentary. This effortless presence, this non-striving in daily life, is the natural unfolding of releasing the past narratives. It is the peace that was always here, waiting in the spaciousness beyond the stories we told ourselves. Consider the quiet space between your thoughts as you wash a single cup. Notice how your shoulders rise when you think, "When will this be done?" How your fingers tighten around the sponge as you imagine the next task waiting. This familiar tension, this constant pushing toward a future state, creates a prison of its own making. Yet the truth is simple. We strive not because we must, but because we forget. We forget that action itself holds its own completeness, that the water flowing over the cup is already perfect in its movement. Striving is the friction of a mind resisting the present moment, while non-striving is the ease of emptiness, open and unburdened. It is not laziness, but a deep trust in the natural flow of what is. Imagine the simple act of washing dishes. When you strain to make every plate spotless before moving to the next, your mind races ahead, creating a story of completion. But what if you simply felt the warm water on your hands, noticed the soap's gentle scent, and let the rhythm of the sponge guide your movement? The dish becomes clean not because you demanded it, but because you were fully present with the act. Your hands relax, your breath deepens, and the task unfolds without the weight of expectation. This is non-striving, not abandoning responsibility, but releasing the invisible hand that pulls you toward an outcome. The cup is washed, the water runs clear, and there is no need to chase after a result. The action was complete in itself. Reflect now on your own daily task. Perhaps it is preparing a meal, answering an email, or walking to the mailbox. How might you do this one thing without the quiet voice whispering, "This must be perfect," or "fast," or "finished"? Close your eyes for a breath. Feel the weight of the object in your hands, the sound of your footsteps, the air on your skin. Let the need for a specific result soften like a leaf on a stream. Notice the tension that dissolves when you stop measuring your actions against an imagined standard. You're not failing because the task isn't done yet. You're simply being here, now, with what is. This is the spaciousness of emptiness, open, peaceful, and utterly free from the burden of striving. Do not search for a grand revelation. The miracle is in the ordinary, the way your fingers trace the rim of a teacup, the way you pause to watch a bird pass by, the way you breathe without counting the breaths. In these moments, you release the old habit of grasping. You let go of the need to control the unfolding. The water flows, the cup is washed, and the mind rests in its own natural ease. There is no goal to reach, only the quiet wonder of being fully present. This is not passive waiting. It is active participation without the strain of wanting. The dish is clean. The moment is complete, and you are no longer separate from it. You are simply the movement of washing, the flow of water, the stillness after the action. When you do not strive, you do not create a barrier between yourself and the world. You meet life as it is, without adding the weight of expectation. The tension melts away, and what remains is the gentle, open peace of emptiness. This ease is not something you achieve, It is the natural state of a mind that has released its grip. And as you walk through your day with this quiet understanding, you will notice something subtle. The need for answers begins to soften. You no longer feel the urgency to solve every question, to fix every uncertainty. You simply are. The water holds no need for a future state, and neither must you. The mind, like a river seeking its path, constantly flows toward answers. It asks why this happens, what will come next, how to fix what feels broken. This seeking is natural, yet it carries a hidden weight. We carry the burden of needing to know, of holding tightly to certainty, even as life unfolds in ways beyond our grasp. The peace of Zen emptiness is not found in having the answer, but in resting in the spacious openness where the question itself dissolves. Emptiness is the quiet ground beneath the seeking, the vast sky holding all clouds without needing to name them. It is not a void, but a field of pure possibility, free from the tension of having to be right or understand everything. Consider a moment of stillness by a window. A leaf drifts down from a tree, landing softly on the path. The mind might immediately ask, why is it falling? Where will it go? Is it safe? But in emptiness, there is no need for that question. We simply see the leaf's gentle descent, its quiet arrival without the inner commentary. The leaf doesn't seek an answer for its fall, it simply is. The space around it, the air, the light, holds it without effort. This is the quality of emptiness we discover within ourselves. It is not passive ignorance, but an active presence that holds uncertainty without flinching. When the familiar tug of needing an answer arises, perhaps about a situation, a feeling, or a future moment, do not chase the answer. Instead, feel the subtle tension in your body, the quickening of thought. Breathe in deeply, drawing calm into the space of the question. Breathe out slowly, releasing the grip of the need to know. Let the question hang in the air, like a cloud passing through the sky. It doesn't vanish, but its power to disturb lessens. The space between the question and the answer, the very emptiness where the question lives, becomes the place of peace. You are not failing to find the answer. You are releasing the struggle to find it. This is not resignation, but a profound trust in the present moment as it is. Rest here for a moment. Feel the texture of the air around you. Notice how the mind habitually labels things. This is good. That is bad. This must be solved. Now, in this practice, simply let the labels fall away. Feel the relief as the constant mental chatter about needing to know softens. The need for answers is a habit, a mental pattern we've carried for years. To release it is not to stop thinking, but to stop grasping at the thought as if it holds the key. It is to allow thoughts to arise and pass like clouds, without following them to the horizon. The breath is your anchor. Each inhale draws you back to the ground of being. Each exhale loosens the hold on the question. In this gentle release, there is no effort, only the quiet unfolding of presence. This release is not an end, but a beginning. It is the moment the world reveals itself without the filter of our need to control or define it. The mountains are not mountains because we label them as such. They simply are. The sound of wind is not a problem to solve, but a melody to hear. The space where answers were sought now holds the clarity of simply seeing. In this openness, the world is seen as it truly is, vast, clear, and free from the burden of our questions. This is the peace of emptiness, the deep, quiet knowing that we are already whole, exactly as we are, without needing to know anything more. Observe the space between your breaths. Notice how the room holds you without demanding anything. This quiet space is not empty in the way we usually think. It is the ground of being open and undisturbed. We often fill this space with names, stories, and judgments about what we see. We call a leaf beautiful or ugly, a sound pleasant or harsh, a person kind or difficult. These labels are useful for the world of doing, but they veil the true nature of things as they simply are. The leaf is just a leaf, falling in its own way, no story needed. The sound of wind is just sound, moving through the air, no meaning required. When we release the need to name and judge, we touch the peace of emptiness. It is not a void, but a vast openness where things appear and pass without our interference. This is seeing without the filter of our thoughts. Imagine sitting beside a small stream. You watch the water flow. Your mind might say, "This water is clear," or "The water is moving too fast," or "I wish I could see the fish." These thoughts are the labels we add. Now, gently let those thoughts rest. Simply watch the water. See the way the light catches the surface, the shapes the current makes around the stones, the sound of it flowing. Notice how the water is exactly as it is, without needing to be different. It flows, it reflects, it moves on. It does not struggle with its nature. It just is. In that moment, without the story, the space opens. There is no separation between you and the water. There is only the seeing, the flowing, the present. This is the direct experience of emptiness, not the absence of things, but the presence of things as they truly are, free from our additions. Reflect now. What is one thing you are seeing right now with a label? Perhaps it is the chair you sit on, thinking it is uncomfortable, or the person across the room, labeling them distant or the sound of traffic outside, calling it annoying. Notice that label in your mind. Feel the slight tension it creates. Now, gently let it go. Release the story. Allow the chair to just be a chair, the person to just be a person, the sound to just be sound. Feel the quiet space that opens when you let the label fall away. This space is not empty. It is full of the simple reality of what is. It is peaceful because it is not fighting against what is. It is open because it is not closing around a story. This is the ground of being we have been seeking. It is not found in the future, nor in the answers we seek. It is found right here, in the seeing of things as they are. When we see without labels, action flows naturally from this openness. There is no striving to make things different, no effort to force a shape onto the water. The stream simply flows. The mind, quiet and clear, acts with the ease of the leaf falling. This quiet mind in action is the natural expression of seeing things as they are. It is the deepening into emptiness we have been moving toward. It is not a special state, but the natural way of being when we stop adding our stories to the world. The peace we seek is already here, in the space between the breaths, in the seeing of the leaf, in the simple presence of what is. Let that peace be your guide. Imagine the gentle rhythm of water flowing over your hands as you wash a single dish. The task is simple, yet in this moment, the mind settles not into stillness alone, but into a quiet awareness that holds the action itself. This is the essence of quiet mind in action. It is not the absence of thought or activity, but the deepening of awareness where the mind no longer becomes the center of the experience. The water feels cool, the sponge smooth, the dish clean. Each sensation arises clearly within a spacious openness. There is no need to grasp the thought of the next task or to judge the current one. The action unfolds naturally, supported by the quiet ground of emptiness itself. This emptiness is not void but the open space where things simply are, without the mind adding its own story. In Zen, we often speak of the mind as a mirror reflecting reality as it is. When you wash the dish, the mirror is clear. You see the water, the soap, the texture of the porcelain without layering it with labels like good or boring or I must finish quickly. The mind does not get in the way of the action. Instead, the action happens within the mind's natural clarity. The water flows. The sponge moves. The dish is washed, all without the mind becoming a separate observer. This is not about forcing calm, but about recognizing that calm is already the nature of awareness when it is not caught in the current of thought. The emptiness we speak of is not a concept to be understood, but the very ground of this moment, the space in which the dish, the water, and the quiet mind all coexist without separation. Try this now, not as a practice to master, but as a simple return to what is already here. Find a small task you do daily, pouring tea, walking to the mailbox, or simply breathing. As you do it, let the mind quiet, not by stopping thoughts, but by noticing them without clinging. Feel the weight of the teacup in your hands. Hear the sound of the kettle as it whistles. See the steam rising in the air. Notice the space between your thoughts where awareness rests. In this quiet attention, the task becomes a doorway. The action is not separate from the peace. It is the peace itself, flowing through the ordinary. You are not trying to be still while doing something. You are simply being present as the action happens without the mind's interference. The mind quiets not by effort, but by recognizing that it is already quiet. Like a still pond reflecting the sky without needing to be still. This quiet mind in action reveals something profound. The peace we seek is not found in a distant state of calm, but is the very fabric of our daily experience. When we stop distorting it with our thoughts, the dish is washed, the tea poured, the walk taken, all within the open space of emptiness. This is not passive waiting. It is active presence where everything is seen and done without the veil of me or mine. The mind's quiet awareness is not a separate state, but the natural way things are when we stop adding our own weight to the moment. In this quiet action, there is no need to find peace elsewhere. It is already here, in the space between the thought of "I am doing this" and the simple act of doing. The mind's quiet awareness is not something to achieve, but something to remember, to return to again and again, as we move through the ordinary moments of life. This is the heart of emptiness, not as an idea, but as the living ground of being. Unconditional acceptance now is the heart of this experience. Sit quietly now, feeling the weight of the chair beneath you, the gentle rise and fall of your breath. Notice the space around you, not as empty, but as fully present. This moment holds everything already. There is no need to add anything or push anything away. The teaching is simple. Unconditional acceptance means seeing things exactly as they are right now, without adding your story, your judgment, or your demand that they be different. It is not passive resignation. It is the deep recognition that peace is not found by changing the world, but by resting in the openness that already contains it all. This is the freedom of emptiness. No conditions required for peace. Peace is not something you must earn or achieve later. It is the natural state of awareness when you stop resisting what is. The rain falling outside is just rain. The sound of traffic is just sound. The feeling in your chest is just a feeling. When you stop saying, "This should be otherwise," you discover a profound stillness. You see that the world, your body, your thoughts, they all exist within the vast, open space of awareness. They do not need your permission to be what they are. This is the quiet mind in action. The deep calm of being fully present without a single condition. Consider the rain falling on the window pane. You might have thought, "I wish it would stop," or "This weather is inconvenient." But in this moment, simply notice the rain without adding that wish. Feel the cool air entering the room. Hear the rhythm of the drops. There is no need to fix it, to make it different. The acceptance isn't about liking the rain, it's about releasing the struggle against it. This is how the heart opens. It isn't a special effort, it's simply letting go of the resistance that has been holding it tight. Reflect now. What can you accept unconditionally right here, right now? Not the big things, but the small, immediate reality of this moment. Perhaps it is the sound of your breath moving in and out. Perhaps it is the slight ache in your shoulder. Perhaps it is the way the light falls on the wall. Can you simply hold this as it is, without adding, "I wish it were different"? This is the practice of emptiness as the ground of being. It is not empty of content, it is empty of the struggle against content. When you stop fighting what is, peace is not added, it is revealed, because it was always there, in the space that was never blocked. You don't have to become anything to find it. You simply stop trying to be something else. This quiet acceptance is not a goal. It is the natural state of awareness, already present. It requires no special effort, no perfect condition. It is simply resting in the openness that holds everything as it is. Open heart without conditions is the natural state of acceptance. This is how the ground of being reveals itself, not through striving, but through simply being here, now, with everything as it is. This quiet awareness we discovered in ordinary moments is not a distant achievement, but the very ground of our being. It is the natural space where resistance dissolves and peace simply is. Now we move deeper, beyond the concept of emptiness as mere absence, to touch its living quality. Emptiness is not empty space. It is the boundless openness that holds everything without grasping. This is the ground from which unconditional love arises, not as a feeling we manufacture, but as the simple, natural expression of that spacious awareness itself. An open heart is free from conditions. It loves without needing anything in return, without demanding gratitude, without seeking to be seen or understood. It simply is, like the sky holding a bird's flight without attachment to the bird's path. This is not a special state we attain. It is the fundamental nature of awareness when we stop building walls around it. We see it in the simplest moments. Imagine sitting quietly, watching a single leaf drift down from a tree. There is no need to label it, to name it, to decide if it is beautiful or not. You simply see it, as it is, part of the whole unfolding. In that seeing, there is no separation, no expectation. The leaf is just there, and your awareness holds it without effort. This is the natural expression of emptiness as love. It is not sentimental, it is simply the way things are when we stop trying to make them different. Now, let us practice this directly. Close your eyes for a moment, or simply soften your gaze. Bring to mind someone you know, someone ordinary. Not a loved one in a grand way, not a stranger in a distant thought, but a real person in your life. Now, send them a silent wish of love. Not a prayer asking for something, not a hope that they will change, not a wish for them to feel something in return. Just a simple, open-hearted intention. May you be well. May you be at peace. Send it without conditions, without waiting for a response, without needing it to feel different in your own heart. Let the wish simply arise from the stillness within, like a breath released. There is no goal, no outcome. It is simply love flowing from the open ground of being. Notice how this feels. Does it require effort? Does it demand something? Or does it simply rest, like the quiet space holding the leaves fall? This practice is not about fixing anything, not about becoming someone else. It is about recognizing that the love we seek is already here, unconditioned, open, and free. It is the natural state of the heart when it rests in the spaciousness of emptiness. There is no need to chase it, no need to make it happen. It simply is, right here, now, in the space between breaths. This quiet, open-hearted presence is the living ground of unconditional acceptance. It is the way we meet each moment, each person, without the weight of expectation. With an open heart, we see the world without labels. As steam rises from the freshly poured tea, notice how the water moves through the leaves, yet the cup remains steady. This is the stillness we seek, not in the absence of motion, but in the calm center of it. Emptiness is not a void to fill, but the open space that holds all movement without grasping. When you walk to the kitchen, when you answer a call, when your hands shape clay, the stillness of emptiness is already there, waiting to be recognized, not created. It is not about stopping your actions, but moving with the quiet flow of awareness, not against the current of the present moment. We often resist the natural rhythm of life, tightening our grip on how things should be, and in that resistance, we create the very turbulence we seek to escape. But when we stop pushing against the present, peace reveals itself like a clear pond reflecting the sky. Consider the simple act of stirring your tea. You might feel the urgency to stir faster, to make the tea ready sooner, and in that hurry, your mind becomes a storm. Yet if you simply notice the movement of the spoon, the sound of the liquid, the warmth in your hands, without judgment or haste, the action becomes a meditation. The stillness isn't separate from the stirring. It is the space in which the stirring happens. You move, yet you remain undisturbed, like the water holding the leaf without effort. This is living from emptiness, not by withdrawing from life, but by entering it with openness, allowing each moment to be as it is. Reflect on your next action. Perhaps it is reaching for your phone, stepping onto a bus, or breathing deeply before speaking. How might you bring stillness to that movement? Not by slowing down the action itself, but by releasing the inner resistance to it. Feel the tension in your shoulders as you prepare to answer a difficult question, and then soften. Notice the impulse to rush, and instead, allow the breath to anchor you in the now. The stillness is not something you add. It is the natural state of your awareness when you stop fighting what is. It is the quiet confidence of knowing that the present moment, exactly as it is enough. This quiet liberation, this gentle release from resistance, is the key. It is not a special state reserved for seated meditation, but the ordinary miracle of being fully present in the ordinary. When you move through your day without demanding it be different, without clinging to how you think it should be, you discover that peace is not found in stillness alone, but in the very heart of movement. The mountain stands firm while rivers flow around it, not by blocking the water, but by holding it within its spaciousness. So too, your life can be both active and at peace, open and engaged, because emptiness is not empty. It is the boundless space that allows everything to be as it is. This quiet liberation is the natural state of open heart without conditions. It is the awareness that flows without judgment, holding all of life with the gentle strength of the sky. As the leaf falls silently into still water, it creates no ripple of resistance, no need to be anything other than what it is. This is the natural state we are returning to, the open space of emptiness that holds all experience without grasping. In the quiet flow of CH10SC01, we discovered stillness within movement, a calm center that doesn't resist the world. Now we step deeper into the heart of that stillness, awareness without judgment. Judgment is the subtle barrier we build between ourselves and the present moment. When we label an experience good or bad, right or wrong, we create separation, pulling ourselves away from the openness of what is. We become a spectator, critical and divided, rather than a participant in the seamless flow of life. This separation is the root of suffering. It tightens the heart, narrows the mind, and obscures the peace that is already here. True awareness sees everything as it is, without the filter of preference. It observes the rain falling on the window, not as annoying, but as water moving through the sky. The sound of a car horn, not as aggressive, but as a vibration in the air. There is no need to add meaning, to push away the unpleasant or cling to the pleasant. The leaf on the path is simply a leaf. The conversation at the table is simply words and breath. This is not indifference, but profound acceptance. It is the spaciousness where the sound of birdsong and the rumble of a distant train exist equally, without one being more important than the other. in this openness. The mind is free from the constant chatter of evaluation. Try this now, as you sit quietly. Notice the next thought that arises about something you see or hear. Perhaps you think, "This is boring," or "That person is rude." Feel the subtle tightening that comes with that judgment. Then, gently, let it go. Not by fighting it, but by simply noticing it and returning to the direct experience of sound, sight, or feeling. Feel the space that opens up when you release the label. It is not empty of content, but empty of the mental habit of judging. It is the quiet room where the rain can fall freely, where the leaf can rest without being named. This is the natural openness of emptiness, the ground from which all experience arises and returns. See the coffee cup before you. Notice its color, its warmth, the way the light catches the rim. Do not call it beautiful or ordinary. Simply see it. Hear the distant sound of a bird. Do not call it peaceful or disturbing. Simply hear it. In these small moments, the practice becomes real. It is not about achieving a perfect state, but about recognizing the habitual mind and choosing to rest in awareness again and again. Each time we let go of a judgment, we return to the open space where peace is not a thing to be found, but the very nature of being. This is how emptiness integrates into life, not as an idea in the mind, but as the living ground of every action, every breath. It is the freedom that comes when we stop trying to shape reality into what we want it to be. It is the quiet certainty that arises when we simply allow things to be as they are. This ongoing practice of returning to awareness without judgment is the very path of liberation. Freedom from mental habits is the ongoing practice. Imagine the quiet space between thoughts where the river flows without resistance. This is the natural openness we call emptiness, not as absence, but as fullness. It is the calm center where mental habits lose their grip. These habits are patterns we have built over time, like worn paths in the forest. We walk them automatically believing they lead somewhere important. We worry about tomorrow's meeting or replay yesterday's mistake. We label people and situations as good or bad, right or wrong. These labels become heavy chains we carry without noticing. They are not truths, but stories we tell ourselves. They create separation where there is only one flowing moment. Emptiness is the space that opens when we stop clinging to these stories. It is not emptiness as void, but as freedom. Like the river that moves without needing to be named or controlled. A Zen story tells of a monk who carried a map of the river he was crossing. He studied it constantly, fearing he might lose his way. When the river suddenly changed course, he panicked, believing his map was wrong. He struggled against the new flow, until a moment of stillness came. He let go of the map and simply watched the water. He saw it was always moving, always changing. The map had been a habit, a mental pattern that blocked his view of the river as it truly was. The freedom came when he released the map. He was no longer bound by the habit of needing to know the path. He simply flowed with the current. This is the freedom emptiness offers. It is not about erasing thoughts, but seeing them as passing clouds, not the sky. The habit of judging a colleague's comment as rude dissolves when we notice the space before the judgment. The habit of fearing a blank page fades when we sit with the quiet of the empty sheet. Emptiness is the gentle space where we can choose to step off the old path. It is not effort, but natural release. We do not force ourselves to be free. We simply stop holding on. We notice the habit arising and allow it to pass like a leaf on the water. So today, pause. Feel the weight of a habitual thought or reaction. Perhaps it is the worry that tomorrow will be difficult. Perhaps it is the habit of comparing your journey to others. What small pattern can you release right now? Not to become someone new, but to simply be as you are in this moment. Release it with kindness, as you would release a held breath. Feel the lightness that comes when you stop fighting the river. Notice how the world seems clearer, softer, without the heavy labels we usually place upon it. As you release this habit, the world reveals itself without labels. The river flows as it is, not as you expected. The person beside you is simply present, not defined by your story. This natural seeing is the next step, the effortless way of being that comes when habits fall away. It is the peace of emptiness, not as emptiness, but as boundless openness. You are not losing anything. You are simply becoming free to see. Imagine holding a simple leaf in your hand. Feel its delicate veins, the soft edge, the way light passes through it. Now, before your mind names it, before you call it maple or oak or simply leaf, just look. See the green, the slight curve, the tiny imperfections. Notice the way it moves with the air, not as a thing to be classified, but as a moment of being. This is the heart of emptiness, not an absence, but a presence without the cage of words. Labels like good or bad, mine or yours, right or wrong, shrink the vastness of reality into a narrow path. They create walls where there are none. The world isn't divided into categories. It's a continuous flow of sensation, sound, color, and change, like water moving through the stones. When we stop naming, we stop separating ourselves from the flow. We are not apart from the leaf, the wind, the light. We are part of the seeing itself. This practice begins with the smallest thing. Take a cup of tea. Feel its warmth against your palms. Watch the steam rise, not as steam, but as a living curve of air. Notice the color of the liquid, the pattern of the rim, the way it reflects the light. Do not call it hot or delicious or just tea. Let the mind rest. The mind will try to label. This is the habit we've been releasing. But when you gently return to the simple seeing, without the story, something shifts. The cup is no longer an object to be judged. It is a moment of warmth, of clarity, of presence. The world reveals itself not as a collection of problems or solutions, but as a gentle unfolding. A bird flies past the window. See the shape of its wings, the way it cuts the air, not as bird, but as pure motion. The sound of rain on the roof is not noise or background, but a soft rhythm, a sound that simply is. This is the freedom that comes from releasing the need to label. It is not about ignoring reality, but about meeting it fully, as it is, without the filter of thought. As you practice this, notice how the mind resists. It will say, "What is this?" Or, "I need to know." That's the habit speaking. Gently let it go. Return to the leaf, the cup, the rain. Feel the space between the labels. It is spacious, quiet, and deeply peaceful. This isn't a special state for monks in mountains. It's the natural way of being, available right here, right now, in the ordinary moments. When we see without labeling, we stop creating suffering through judgment. We stop seeing the world as a problem to fix and start seeing it as a gift to be experienced. The cup is warm. The rain is gentle. The leaf is alive. This is all there is. There is no need to make it more or less. The world simply flows, and we are flowing with it. This is the full expression of Zen emptiness, peaceful and open.